Hey everyone, it's the Four Gun Guy. Today I want to talk to you about a two-day match I just shot up in Carbon Hill, Alabama. So here's what I wanted to do. Let's go over the match, just kind of describe it, talk about how I shot the match, the prize table from the match, and would I shoot that match again. And then I'm going to do some follow-on videos on very specific stages of that match. I've released some shorts on those stages, but I want to really break them down so you understand what to think about when you get to a stage like that in a two-day match. So if you're ready to go, let's get to it. If you watched my other video on shooting two-day matches and the expenses involved and stuff like that, then you know in that video I talked about is the match far enough away that you may have to break it up into 2 days if you drive. If you fly, then you don't have to do that. We like to drive, my wife and I. So some matches you can get there in 1 day. For example, the match I shot up in Arkansas, Twisted Barrel, up in Little Rock, that's an easy 7.5 hour drive, no big deal. This match was in Carbon Hill, Alabama. The closest large town to it was a town called Jasper. And that drive was about 11 hours, 11 and a half if you're stopping to get gas and stuff like that. And I had driven trips that long. In fact, coming back from our Grand Junction match, from Grand Junction to Amarillo, Texas is 11 and a half hours. So we drove that already. So I said, yeah, let's do it. So we didn't need to, we didn't have the expense of staying overnight and breaking that trip up into two different legs. Easy drive, very easy drive. Depends on which route you took. We took the southern route, I-10, and then went up. Going out, we took the northern route, which is, I think it's I-20, and then down 59 coming back. We live in Houston, Texas. So travel-wise, it was a really easy trip to take. Let's talk now about the range, the match prep, and how I shot the match. Well, we drove up on a Thursday. And then Friday was a train up day. So Friday got up about 8 o'clock, got to the range about 9. I think they opened from 8 to 3. We got there about 9 and started the train up. They had the entire range open if you wanted to walk it. So what I would say on something like this is do walk the entire course of fire. Now, we don't know what stages we're shooting, right? And some of the targets that we can shoot, we could go out to 1,100 yards, but you don't know if those targets are going to be the targets you shoot during the match. This is more just to train up, look at the props and stuff like that. Let's start with the props. The props for this match were very fair, very fair. There was no janky ropes hanging between two posts and stuff like that. So it was a very fair from a prop standpoint. So I walked the match, shot off of some of the props, but most of them, to be honest with you, were props I'm already familiar with. So I really didn't have to spend a lot of time on them. I didn't get up to one part of the course of fire, but that was fine the next day when we started the match. No surprises up there. The range itself, the firing line, if you will, was probably, I'm going to say, a half a mile wide. And it ranged from flat ground to a small hill that we had to climb up to shoot about 5 stages off of. But it wasn't anything extraordinary. As a matter of fact, I didn't take my cart. Well, I did take my cart. A buddy of mine was having some issues with his back, and I said, I'll bring my cart. You can put your stuff in there and use my cart. I used my Eberly stock Upranger bag the whole match. Now, day one, when it rained, I did throw some stuff in the cart, and I toted the cart around because it was wet, so I wanted to keep it dry. But day 2 was totally my 40-pound pack with my 23-pound rifle and me. So if I can do that on that range, then probably 95% of you can do that on that range. So as far as the props go, as far as the range itself, the range layout itself, very nice. And what you found was we were shooting a lot of alleys. I'll try to put some pictures up here. I took some pictures, but I'll put some pictures up here of some of the stages and stuff like that. But a lot of it was shooting alleys to targets out there. A couple stages, there was an open area downrange that was really neat, because in one of the stages we spanned probably, I don't know, maybe 110 degrees of difference between shots, between targets. So as far as that goes, there were no surprises, nothing like that. Now let's talk about the course of fire. This was a long match. It was 20 stages. Some 2-day matches now are going 18 stages. These guys went 20. They gave us a really nice book with the course of fire in it. Very self-explanatory. There were no surprises in here. The course of fire itself was very fair. I know I've said that before, but I can't say it enough on this match. Very fair course of fire. And you had the best shooters in the country there. You did. Again, as I said on my other 2-day match video, someone like me, a mid-pack shooter, you should not be expected to do great in a match like this. There are just too many pro and semi-pro shooters in these matches that are very, very good. The targets, I'd say the targets ranged from, let's see, I think the largest target we shot was 14 inches, and I think that was at 1,100 yards. So about, what, MOA and a half, less than that. But most of them were 1 MOA, 2 MOA. I think there might have been a 3 MOA in there. I don't know. But very fair target selection. And a lot of movement. So well, I say that. I'd say it was half and half. Half of the match was movement, as you'll see in some of the videos that I've posted. And in the follow-on videos I'm going to do where I kind of break those stages down, there was probably half and half movement and just shooting off of stable positions. But you always shot, you either moved and shot the same target, or you moved, shot multiple targets, or you stayed in one position and shot multiple targets. So it was really a mix of things from a course of fire standpoint. And I just found it to be very, very fair. Weather-wise, Saturday it rained in the morning really hard, but it only rained for about 45 minutes. There was a weather delay. And again, I appreciate that the match director and the team said, look, we hear thunder. Let's kind of everyone hunker down, and we don't need to be out there shooting in this stuff. So at about a 45-minute weather delay, and then it stayed cloudy that day, so it was kind of muddy, but again, nothing anyone can do about that. And then day 2 was a beautiful day, just beautiful day. From a wind standpoint, I don't think the wind on either day ever got above 10 miles an hour. So it was good for someone like me, right? I don't like shooting in the wind. So that was really good. And the wind direction, I think the wind direction stayed steady, but because, as I said earlier, shooting in these alleys and it's very hilly, that wind will kind of swirl around, and it's very interesting. You'll be holding a 1/2 mil right, and the impact on the steel hits, and the quote smoke from that impact will blow left to right. So it's just because that wind is just swirling down there, and it can be very deceiving, and you really have to trust what you think the wind is. that will really mess with your head. So don't let it mess with your head. Be confident after the first couple stages that the wind is the wind, right? Unless a norther's blowing through and the wind is changing. But in our case, the wind did not change. Well, this was our first trip to Alabama. I'd never been there before. Really nice place. People are very nice there. The pace is slow, so you know, you want to realize that the pace there is going to be a little slow when you're in a restaurant, when you're driving, and that's a good thing. Sometimes it's good to just say, okay, I got to slow down, right? I need to adapt to this. So people were very nice. Match director, his entire staff, very nice people. And all the shooters were very, very nice as well. Well, let's talk about how I did overall. The first day, I was up and down in this match. So I had some stages of 5 impacts. I had stages of 8. I never cleaned a stage. Came close on like 4 stages, but I never did. And that was one of my goals, was to clean a stage. One thing that I didn't want to do, that I also did, was I zeroed a stage. And I'm going to do a separate video on that, on how to zero a stage in a 2-day match. It was pretty interesting, but yes, I got a 0 on a stage. And that interesting thing about that is that was on day 2, and it only dropped me 5 places down. So out of 140 shooters, first day I was 101, and the second day I was 106. So as I said before, you know, you can look at that and go, God, you suck. I do, compared to the guys I was shooting with. I mean, I think the guy who won dropped 10 shots. Guys, 10 impacts over a 200 round event. That shows you who you're shooting against. So for you folks who haven't shot a 2-day and you're sitting there going, well, I don't know if I want to get up there and do that, or just go do it. It's a blast. It is a blast, and you will enjoy it. So the people were great. Everything was great. Let's talk about the prize table now. Prize table was fantastic. They had some random drawings for cases of primers. So again, this was the federal gold medal match. So they had cases of primers that they gave away. I didn't get one. A buddy in our squad, they did a random drawing for the mid-pack shooters. He won a suppressor. So the prizes were very good. Now, let me tell you something. As I said, I was 106th. I walked in that door into the little prize area because they had an entry and an exit. I walked in the entry, and my thinking is, okay, I'm gonna walk out with another $325 hat, right? Well, this thing was sitting on the table. This is a Hornady Auto Charge Pro, guys. This is $350 to $400, and it was still on the table. So that shows you what was on the prize table. If 105 people before me chose other things and left a $400 powder dispenser on the table. Then, and I'm going to tell you this, if you go to any other 2-day matches, stick around, right? Don't just go and then get in your car or truck and drive away, because my squad, the buddies I always shoot with, they'd been here before, and they said, nope, we don't leave. Sure enough, after they had gone through everybody, they let the ROs go one more time, which I think is awesome. Awesome. I love it when MDs do that. Then they said, all right, everyone, it's a free-for-all. Well, in the free-for-all, I got a $50 Mid-South Shooters gift certificate, and I got a half off, 50% off of an Eberly stock item. Now, that Eberly stock pack of mine is $360, half off of that. So, you know, I think that's a great deal. So if you look at it, 400, 160, 170, 570, $630 worth of stuff for coming in 106th place. So, you know, Would I shoot this match again? You are absolutely right, I would. And I've told my guys next year we're there. I'm there. My wife and I are going to be there. So if you want to shoot a great 2-day match, you got to sign up early for these things. But I would shoot the federal gold medal match in Carbon Hill, Alabama at this time of year. This is, what is it, September. And I think this match is the top of my list, very top. So for next year. So I just wanted to put this together real quick. I've got some other videos, like I said, some follow-on videos that are going to be spawning from this match. Some things that happened, some things I saw, things I did that I want to talk to you about so you can be ready when you go to these things. But anyway, just want to give you an update. It was a great match, and I shot with the best squad of guys. I mean, I just love these guys I shoot with. I shoot with them all the time, and they're just great, great people. We support each other. When I get a 0 on a stage, everyone just kind of leaves you alone because they know you want to just chill out for a little bit. And I did, and I appreciate that, you know. And some of them didn't do well on stages, and you do the same thing. You just let them be. Let us stew for a minute, and then we've got to get our mind back for the next stage. So, great event. I would do it again. Thanks for watching, everyone. I've got a bunch of other stuff coming up. And until next time, shoot straight.